Taoiseach and Minister for Defence, I welcome you to the House for this important debate, and indeed I welcome the veterans that are here as well, who clearly had to go through quite a lot of personal strife to get us to where we are today. I'd first like to welcome the appointment of Miss Justice Anne Power, a judge of international standing, and I wish her well in the work that she's about to undertake, and I congratulate you, Taoiseach, on picking somebody of such standing to chair the tribunal. I was going to ask you for a location for the tribunal, but you've jumped on me on that one. But Taoiseach, I'm wondering when we'll see a website and when we'll see email addresses for witnesses to bring forward information. Taoiseach, I'm welcoming the debate today. I have to say that I was deeply disappointed that the report carried out by the IRG and its untested evidence was published in the way it was. In effect, it branded the Defence Forces as a group of misogynic rapists, sexual predators and bullies, while in truth it is a minority of those who served that carried out that sort of thing. No one will disagree that there were, and perhaps still are, bad and disgusting people who perpetrate these crimes, and they need to be rooted out and brought to justice. And with that in mind, I'm happy to see that you have instructed that the Gardaí be informed of any misconduct. The IRG was set up to scope the issues within the Defence Forces and not to become judge and jury. The report, in the way it was published, provided a platform for those seeking headlines, many of them in this House, to jump on the bandwagon and join the lynching mob. I believe that we still have a democracy, and untested evidence should never be given the prominence the IRG report was given. We have veterans here today who suffered at the hands of these thugs. For thugs is what they were. Thugs who discredited the uniform they wore, the units they were belonged to, their colleagues and their country. They hid behind their rank in some cases, and in other cases they found locations where there were no seeing eyes to carry out the actions that they carried out. And indeed, it's indicative of bullying and harassment that it usually takes place out of sight. The classic bully is the one who does it in his office and is his or her office and is loved by everybody outside the office. So these women and men are entitled, the women who are here today and their colleagues, they're entitled to their day of justice. The tribunal must establish undisputable facts, name the guilty and bring them before justice. In saying that, I always believe that natural justice must be at the forefront of anything we do. And therefore, I'm asking you today, Taoiseach, to ensure that no commissioned officer, no non-commissioned officer or enlisted person should have to appear before the tribunal without full access to legal representation up to and including senior counsel level. There are suggestions that many suffering bullying, aggravation and sexual harassment, up to and including rape, did not report these incidents because of fear of long-term impact on their careers. Taoiseach, I spent 25 years of my life representing employees as a trade union representative, right up to the level of president of the Teachers Union of Ireland. I came across many workers in my time who claimed they were afraid to make reports for fear of impact on their career. That's something that we as a community, we as a society, have to stamp out. And I hope that as the Defence Forces goes through its paces, that's one of the things we will provide, a friendly, open, transparent atmosphere for those who have complaints. I want now to turn to the state's most loyal servants, and I'm talking about our Defence Forces, who are the first to be called into action during any national crisis. Will you, Taoiseach, order a survey to establish how those with grievances that were satisfied at the end, how come they're not being enumerated? There are many soldiers who had grievances, went through the complaints process, came out the other side and went on to have fruitful and significant careers. Indeed, I was at the retirement of a Sergeant Major, and he advised all present that on a Wednesday he had been charged with an offence and on Friday he was promoted. So some people can come through the system and do well. Many thousand members of the Defence Forces have served with pride, and I was one myself, and I felt valued, and so did many of my colleagues. So there is a problem insofar as the IRG report has damaged the reputation of people who were honest, decent, hard-working, serving soldiers at all ranks. And we need to do something to give them back the pride they're entitled to. Give them back the pride they served with. The Defence Forces, like any organisation, has its problems, but it would be wrong to characterise the entire organisation as dysfunctional or misogynist. An unsafe place to work in? Not really. My experience is that it was not an unsafe place to work in. I hope the guilty can be found, and I believe that the numbers will not be as large as some in this House suggested when the IRG report came out. What I do want is I want to know that those that have been found by the tribunal as having a case to answer, that they are immediately brought to justice. And the people sitting here in the gallery who have carried the pain of the abuse they suffered get their day in court and get justice. But I will support the tribunal. I think it's about time that we got it out of the way. And I pray, as a former member of the Defence Forces, that no blight is brought on the entire organisation, but the thugs are identified and are brought to heel. Thank you.